Hi, I'm Tonya Brown.
And I'm Brown. Welcome to our first edition of Straight Talk. We just want to say hi to everybody out there in video land, TV land, and everywhere else in the land.
That's right. Welcome to our show. My husband and I are sharing with you today, just for a few minutes. We wanted to talk about some things. We'll be talking with you every week. You'll be able to respond back. Comment sections, you ask questions, we'll answer those questions. We'll come back on our next show, answer your questions. Please, this is interactive. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your comments. We want your questions. So please come back and talk to us, respond to these videos so that we can respond back to you. Our first session we wanted to talk about is, let me first say this, my husband spent 16 years in prison. I waited for him those 16 years, and so we authored two books, which we don't have in front of us now, Straighttalk and A Woman's Words, two remarkable books that you have to get a copy of, but that's not what the session is about today. What we wanted to talk about is one of the things that we've done, one of the outreaches that we have is a support group, and it's called Waiting on a Promise Support Group. And that support group is for women who have incarcerated loved ones. Well, in the course of our sessions, it was brought out that multiple women have been molested or raped, abused sexually, and in our discussions, we discovered a few things that we'd like to share with you today. One of those things, most of the girls that are women, they're women now, were raped or molested at an age somewhere around 7 or 8 years old initially. Maybe they were molested more than one time, but when it first started, around the age of 7 or 8. Most of their cases were with people whom they trusted. Maybe it was a cousin or a close friend or a family member, somebody that they knew and that they were very trusting with, in a trusting relationship, and who they were left alone with. Some of them were molested even just by young friends, maybe 8 or 9 years old, similar in age or close in age, who were just left alone. You know, you let your kids go play in the other room while the parents are doing something, or you have guests over to the house and the kids are all doing something. And so one of the things that we discovered in our last session was, with those children all being molested around the same age, what we wanted to share with you was one of the things that you must be aware of is what is happening with your children. Being is that most of these occurrences happened when they were off by themselves somewhere, that means us as parents have to be more protective of our children. We have to guard our children. We have to know where they are. We have to know what they're doing. We can't just send them off into the other room and say, you know, go play, or while we doing whatever. I mean, and we may not even be neglectful parents. We may just be having guests over or whatever. But that just lets us know that it's not safe all the time for us to send the kids off into the other room where there's nobody supervising them. So if you're having an event and you have children over that you need to put in the other room while something is going on with the adults, then send somebody in to supervise. Don't leave children unsupervised. That's my point. Don't leave children unsupervised. Don't leave them unsupervised at home. Don't leave your children at home for somebody else to have to care for. A lot of times parents will leave their children with teenagers. That's not always the safest thing to do. And talk to your children, because most of these people said that they never told anybody. One, they were afraid to tell. Two, they said they were afraid because these were people whom their parents loved and trusted as well, and so they didn't want to tell on this person and then have the family mad at the individual that was the perpetrator. And so if you don't talk with your children, and even talking to them to find out after the fact is good, but the damage has still already been done. So you really want to do all that you can to prevent your child from being abused. If there is, I mean, if this is in your hands at all, guard your children. I cannot say that enough. You have to protect your babies. You can't send them off with people. You can't leave them at home by themselves. One of the girls said she was molested at 7, but then by the time she was 12 or 13 years old, then she started willfully seeking out sexual relationships, because she said what happened to her at that young age, you know, aroused her feelings. So by the time she was 12 or 13, then she knew when it happened earlier that it was wrong. But by the time she was 12 or 13, then she wanted to know what it felt like the right way, which at 12 or 13, you're way too young for that. But because she had already been opened up, her spirit had been opened up to those emotions, then she started to seek that out. And so she said she became very promiscuous. She started sleeping around. Her mother died when she was 14, so then she, you know, she began to ask questions, because then she's dealing with a whole lot of emotions. Now she want to know why this happened to her. What did she do wrong that made somebody molest her? What, you know, maybe this was her fault. She had all these questions going on in her head, but at the same time she was sleeping with different people, trying to seek out somebody to really love her and to really be intimate with her in the right way, not knowing that at that age and stage in her life that she shouldn't have been promiscuous at all. But all of the ladies that we spoke to also said that because they never told anybody, they never received any counseling, they never knew how to deal with what happened to them. Some of them said they tried to kind of block it out of their minds, just forget about it. But in blocking those traumatic issues out of their mind, they also became nonchalant and numb about multiple issues in their life. So they took on a, you know, whatever kind of attitude, I don't care about a lot of things in their lives, because it wasn't handled properly. So I wanted to share this so maybe that we can help some other people who have young children. Guard your children, protect your children. This is just something I wanted to share real quickly. We're not going to spend a lot of time on each show. The episodes are only going to be 5 or 6 minutes, but I really wanted to share this with you, our listening audience, because we want to protect our babies. My husband does a spiel, I don't know what you would call it. They have a program with our chief of police and the prosecutor's office. It's a program called NOVA, where they reach out to young men who are troubled youth, and he shares with them, a lot of them let him talk, but he shares with those young men how important it is for them to protect their children, not to go to prison. So I'm going to let him talk about that, because that's one of the things I thought was key with the ladies that we talked to in the group last night, was being unprotected, not having their fathers in the home to guard and protect them.
And I want to say this, most of the young women and young men that are being molested or abused have been molested by somebody that they actually knew, somebody that the family trusted to be along with that individual or that young individual. And so we have to be more careful with the people that we allow in our children's lives. One thing I want to say, as a passion of mine, fighting mass incarceration across the country and the recidivism rate, the return rate, I share a lot of things with the young men that are incarcerated who have left their children out there unprotected. And so this goes out to the men that may be listening. Man, you know, when you leave your child out here in the world by themselves or with their mother, basically it's man's responsibility to look out and to protect his family. And when you're not there, you leave your children vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, to the things of the world. And so this is why I go around telling young men, this is not a place for you to go prison. If you have children that you want to leave there along with your insignificant other, your wife or your girlfriend, whatever it may be, now you leave room for another man to come into your household. Now this man, who is not the father of your children, you know what I'm saying, he don't care like you care. And so you have to understand, he may have some problems, mental problems or whatever the case may be, that may cause harm to your children or to the mother of their child. So we have to be careful about who we allow into our families' lives, our children's lives. And so with this segment, we just want you to understand that our children are valuable to us, you know. And so when we allow them to just fend for themselves or allowing them to do what they want to do, we're basically setting them up for failure. And so my thing is, we came along with this right here to address this subject because there's a lot of young women, a lot of young men nowadays that are being molested. I'm talking about men, young boys. And so when we see these things happening, you know, there are people out in the world that just ain't right. And we know they're not right. So we have to protect our children along with the women in our world from this disease, this spiritual disease, basically that comes and destroys families. And so we have to understand that. And so although with my lovely wife, Tonya, this is our first section and we're going to have a whole lot more. And these sessions are live. So you will hear us say some things and do some things based on our own beliefs and what we feel is right based on what God is telling us in our own life. So we just want to thank you for just being there, listening to us today. And we welcome your comments. If there's anything that you want to know, is there a question concerning this right here, and we haven't answered it at this session, man, hit us on the inbox and let us know, man. And I promise, man, we'll answer that question for you as quick as possible. We want to say we love y'all, and God be the glory. God bless you. Until next time, we see you at Straight Talk. Bye, y'all.
See you. Wait a minute, one more thing. Let me say real quick before we go. We had one situation where a girl was 7 years old when she was molested, but she was molested by an 8-year-old friend. An 8-year-old girlfriend, so it was two girls. Just in case somebody may be dealing with this, somebody may have had the similar situation and they didn't know how to deal with it. She said that the little girl molested her. She never told on the little girl because it was her friend. But she said when she looked back to think about all the things that molestation caused in her life, she said she ended up having homosexual thoughts. She didn't carry those thoughts out, but she battled with it in her mind because her first introduction to sex was from another woman. So that caused her to have homosexual thoughts. It caused her to sleep around. She ended up being a stripper or prostitute. A multiplicity of things happened in her life. She was rebellious against her parents. All kinds of things happened as a result of that. So I'm just sharing that because people are dealing with a lot of things and they don't say anything to anybody, and sometimes they don't even understand themselves why they are acting the way they acting or why they have the kind of emotions that they have. So if that's you and you want to talk to us about it, you want to ask questions about it, even if you want to have some personal conversations with us, we are open to that. Comment on the comment section of this video. If we need to get back with you personally, we will give you contact information at that time where you can actually contact us personally if you'd like to do so. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye, everybody.